Hi and welcome along to AFTV here with a bit of breaking news around the goalkeeping situation at Arsenal. As you know, Arsenal have been looking for a goalkeeper who can offer competition to David Raya. Last season we had Neto on loan. Neto, of course, only played one game for Arsenal in the Champions League against Girona and then returned back to Bournemouth. And Arsenal have been on the lookout for a goalkeeper. It was said that Arsenal were very interested in signing Joan Garcia, who has now decided to leave Espanyol and join Barcelona for a fee of around about 20 to 25 million pounds. So Arsenal were back in the hunt for a goalkeeper. And a few days ago, it emerged that Arsenal was showing a big interest in Kepa Arrizabalaga. There's a release clause of £5 million with his current contract at Chelsea. His current deal at Chelsea expires at the end of the season, and this deal is about to get done. He has agreed to join Arsenal, and Arsenal are going to get themselves a brand new goalkeeper who can offer competition to David Raya. The news broken today by the journalist David Ornstein of The Athletic. He says that Arsenal to sign Kepa Arrizabalaga from Chelsea. The deal is in the process of being finalised after the 30-year-old Spanish goalkeeper agreed to join Arsenal and fight for the place. There's a £5 million release clause in the Chelsea contract, which will need activating, but this deal is going to get done. Arsenal will bag their player for only £5 million. And for me, it makes perfect sense. A couple of days ago, as I said, this news emerged. And on yesterday's Transfer Daily, I did a poll where I asked you guys, would you like to see Kepa sign for Arsenal? A resounding 70% of you said yes, you would like to see this deal happen. And you got your wishes. It is going to happen. Kepa is going to be joining Arsenal. Perfect sense. As I said, they were after Joan Garcia. Garcia has decided, he had a great season at Espanyol, doesn't want to play, as a sort of number two goalkeeper, feels that he can go to Barcelona and start, and so he is heading to Barcelona. So it would have meant that Arsenal would have had a protracted sort of period trying to find a goalkeeper. But Kepa, absolutely perfect for Arsenal. As I said, had a good season last year at Bournemouth. I remember when Bournemouth played against Arsenal, he pulled off some great saves in that game. And yeah, perfect sense. Now, it's been a bit checkered with Kepa. Remember, when he first signed for Chelsea, he was the most expensive goalkeeper in world football, costing over £70 million at the time. Came in at Chelsea, and let's be right, it was a bit of a disaster for him. Made mistake after mistake. Didn't work out for him. In the end, Chelsea ended up sending him out on loan. He had some good loan moves. One of those loan moves were to Real Madrid, where he went, but again, didn't really figure as the number one, but spent time on loan at Real Madrid. He's been a Spanish international, sort of in and out as well. 30 years of age now, so a very experienced player, but a bit in the wilderness as far as, where he was going to go next, with his contract starting to run out at Chelsea. Now, as I said, Arsenal going to activate that release clause of only £5 million, and he will get his move to Arsenal. And it looks like he's coming to Arsenal not just to be a backup number two keeper, but to fight for that first team place. And that's what you want. You want a goalkeeper that's going to come in and try to fight for that place. And also, it's very, very important that you have two good goalkeepers. I mean, what would have happened if anything happened to, David Raya last season? He played literally every game. The poor guy didn't get a rest. I think it seemed pretty obvious to everybody that Mikel Arteta didn't really trust Neto, because Neto only played that one game, against Girona. And that was when we were, secured really of getting into the next stages of the Champions League. That showed you the level of trust. And then even in that game, he had a bit of a dodgy game, Neto. Could have got sent off. Remember that game, if you go back to that game. he had a really dodgy performance in it. And that probably just told Arteta that, yeah, listen, this guy's not the one. But Kepa coming in, I think this is really, really, really good move for Arsenal. As I said, the fee, £5 million, a no-brainer for a keeper of that quality. As I said, remember, at one stage was worth £70 million, £5 million. Premier League ready. He's just played a full season in the Premier League for Bournemouth, and Bournemouth had a very, very good season, and he was right at the forefront of that. So he knows what it takes in the Premier League. And of course, he's been there before with, Chelsea. So again, that ticks a box. And, 30 years of age now, an experienced goalkeeper who will offer serious competition. And remember, lots of very important games to play next season. The Champions League, you got the league race, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, lots and lots of games. It makes perfect sense. And for £5 million, an absolute no-brainer. What I want Arsenal to do is the 15 to 20 million pounds they're going to save now by not going to get Joan Garcia. I want them to use that money and put towards, say, for instance, getting a Rodrigo and getting that over the line, because, this has saved Arsenal a lot of money. When I was thinking about this, when that deal came up the other day, and I was like, Arsenal have been saved a lot of money in a few positions this summer. So if this one goes through, he's saving Arsenal money by us getting only a keeper of that quality for only £5 million. That saves Arsenal a lot of money. Mars Lewis Skelly emerging at left back has saved Arsenal a lot of money. They ain't going to have to go out and buy a left back and probably move on Zinchenko. And Ethan Nwaneri, who now is available, can play, we've seen him do it, play and be the perfect backup to Bukayo Saka on that right-hand side, saves a lot of money. So there is money to spend. Go out there and get those attacking options in. Whether it be Sesko, Rodrigo, Rafa Leao, bring in quality. Morgan Rogers, I don't care. I want to see quality coming through the door, because there can be no excuses about money. But this one looking good. Kepa, due to sign for Arsenal. Let me just give it again. This is what the news which broke for David Ornstein today. Arsenal to sign Kepa Arrizabalaga, I'll get the name right soon, from Chelsea. Dealing process of being finalised after the 30-year-old Spanish goalkeeper agreed to join Arsenal and fight for the place. A £5 million release clause in the Chelsea contract will need activating, and then the deal will be done, and Kepa will be an Arsenal player, an Arsenal goalkeeper. Two Spanish keepers, him and David Raya, battling it out for that number one place. Thanks for watching this, and don't forget, we're here every single day with Transfer Daily, and of course, if anything happens, any breaking news at all, right here is where you hear it first. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing, and I'll see you tomorrow.